Yeah, couple of minutes. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. It's good to be here this morning. Look, I'm excited and grateful for the opportunity just to talk to you. I'm passionate about Gisborne and I love our region. And I think part of that passion is about making a difference. So at ECT, it's about building on the legacy that we've got, but also about being brave enough to make some of the decisions that we need to for the future. For those of you that don't know a lot about us, we're the local energy trust. We're established in 1993. And our vision is to create a more positive, prosperous and attractive community. We believe that we're here to contribute towards making increasing in the quality and the quantity of choices people and groups can make, very much like the treasury idea, allowing them to build meaningful and fulfilled lives. And I think that I can speak for everyone in our team, certainly back, that it's a major motivation for us. And we're established on focusing and fostering Gisborne's economic prosperity. We think that, but we understand that in shifting that needle, we have the opportunity and obligation to make meaningful change in other measures related to poverty. How we do that is dictated to us a little bit by our trust deed. We support businesses, community and other initiatives which are likely to encourage and sustain economic growth within the district. Areas which we work quite closely with align with the themes that you'll see inside the booklet that the team presented to you this morning. But what I thought would be really valuable for me to do today is firstly provide some clarity about what we do and why we do it, but secondly to ensure that we're well connected with the issues in the community, so it's been interesting to hear some of that. Just to finish my introduction, I'd like to make two comments in particular. Look, I read that Tackling Poverty workbook in there that they did in December 2005, and I congratulate you guys for being courageous and brave enough to put your ideas out there. You know, they identified that community, employment, social services and education were key pillars, and I think that's right, and there's some real gems in there. However, when I looked at it, I also questioned some of them philosophically, and just, you know, it's a bit of a change, and I questioned some of the applications for our community, and I hope that today as groups we really test some of that and challenge that. In picking up on the doctor's comment that poverty is a wicked problem, and I'm not sure if you know too much about them, but there's no simple answer, there's no magic solutions. Just when you think you've got it sorted, it changes, and so I suppose don't look for a unique solution, but rather look to be a piece of a puzzle that provides a solution. So that's the approach that we took to it. The two areas that I'm going to talk about today, one's employment, one's education, because I think they're the bits that we've done. Now, our work in employment is directly related to our work in economic development. We believe that employment creates choices and self-determination. It restores mana, which is really important, and ensures that families are living in a sustainable way that enables them to focus on their future, as opposed to surviving in the here and now. It's also one of the earliest indicators of economic trends, with high employment rates indicating well-being of our economy and our labour force. As it stands, we have some real issues. Employment shows that our region is the slowest growing region. Worker productivity is 26% behind the rest of New Zealand. Youth not in employment, education and training shows that Gisborne is the worst performer of all regions in New Zealand. So what does that say about our local economy and in turn the health of our community and its well-being? I think that's quite telling. We all accept that intervention is required to lift Gisborne's economic performance and accelerate growth. We've done a lot of work in that area. We undertook a community research a couple of years ago now, and the community gave us some pretty clear feedback that they wanted us to get off our arse and do something about it. So we sort of took that challenge quite to heart. But equally, we believe that it is about local solutions and the community coming up with their own avenues. So there was two things that we did. Firstly, we funded a number of community enabling programs. Programs like the Akina Foundation, some of you may have heard. It's a social enterprise group. Great thing, and if you've got some social enterprise ideas, that's certainly the place to go to. Social enterprises, we see, are a key solution, and they're really a blend of fixing social problems with commercial mindsets. Hikurangi Tokiwa's report on economic development up the coast was really useful. We've started the Co-Starters program in association with Activate Tairawhiti. So there's a number of programs that are around like that. To augment this, we've also done some work ourselves. We bought a sawmill, which is out past Dukanisho there, and we've invested around about $4.7 million into a wood processing facility. The outcome of that, we hope, is 120 jobs, and we hope that it's $7.7 million into this economy every year. So it's about, for us, it's about providing a blend of these things. The other item that I want to just quickly talk about is education, because education is something that we're pretty passionate about as well. We've often been asked why we've prioritised education in our work, and the short answer to that is that we see that as a key block and a key enabler for people to grow and to move forward. But we know that higher education achievement means higher income. We know that it means better health and well-being. We know that there's less chance of coming into contact with corrections and social welfare, and we know that there's better relationships with others. People that have a solid education are culturally connected. Again, the research that we've done says that they feel a sense of belonging, they feel powerful, they have freedom of choice over their destiny, they communicate effectively, they manage impulsivity, they problem solve, they're fit and healthy, and they're able to relate to others well. And they're all things that we think are really critical for our community to be healthy. Like the Tackling Poverty report, we acknowledge that improving education will not come from a one-size-fits-all. Each community needs something different, and we went out and did some work which was called the Tairāwhiti Learning Region that was led. And we found during that time that there were a number and a variety of really passionate people about education. If you want to take on a challenge, you want to have a talk to educators about education. And they're really passionate about improving children's lives. And a couple of key observations that we made was that there's a disparity about what students need and what students were receiving. And that's in terms of both the supports but also the education that they were getting. There's a strong link between the quality and level of education and social economic outcomes, but in many cases this wasn't working for our young Māori learners, and in particular our Māori learners. Addressing underperformance was critical, and we need to increase the number of people in the community who attain degrees and postgraduate level qualifications. We saw from the previous presentation about the disparity in terms of that sort of thing. But also professional development to build capacity is required. You know? And so we've challenged ourselves around some of that sort of stuff. To come out of that, we've thought five things. We need to understand the community's aspirations. We need to strengthen the school's governance, because ultimately it's all about leadership. We want to build leadership capacity within our schools. That's at the principal level. We want to enhance professional development, give teachers the tools they need, and we also want to encourage collaboration and analysis. So just in closing, we recognise that ECT is just one piece of this puzzle. We also recognise that we're a critical component, but we're not a solution in ourselves. As a community, having an energy trust like us with the mandate to work in economic development is really unusual inside the country, but can bring real benefit to conversations around making significant community change. And so that was the sort of bit that I put together in trying to think about this. But just as I've been sort of hearing some of the conversation, I just want to make one more point. I actually think part of the issue that we face is about regional leadership. And I know that there's a number of people in this meeting today that are standing for council, and they're part of it, but they're only a small part of it. And I know there's people that are standing for the health board and know they're part of it, but they're a small part of it as well. But you've heard from the Treasury people, you've heard from the whole lot of people, and you've just heard from me that, hey, there's a number of organisations here to support, you know, the word support. We don't want to lead, we want to encourage, and all this sort of stuff. But I've got a question, well, who actually leads then? Because, you know, if I come along and say, yeah, I'm ready to support the next person, the government's going to come along, they're going to support it, but it's got to be community-led. Well, who is that? And who wakes up every day thinking about this problem? See, I get paid really well, and I get paid to wake up every day and think, how can I make this trust great? How can I do my bit for the community? And I just question, well, who wakes up every day saying, my job is to tackle this problem? So I ask myself that question, because it's really important, because then it flows onto another question that says, who's accountable? Because I'm held accountable for what I deliver for the trust. I have a performance agreement, I have KPIs, these wonderful things, key result areas. I've got 7 board members that are watching me and saying, yeah, look, you're meeting the standard or you're not meeting the standard. But I just ask myself, so who's accountable in this community to sort this out?